Okay, we are live here, and the Blitz match between Dr. Durkenstein and Tanitoluwa Adewumi has started, and Dr. Durkenstein, as usual, goes for his strange opening with this knight h3, bishop g2 setup, and now f4. And this is not a surprise for Tani because he's seen this before, but I don't know if he has found a way to refute this opening, and we'll find out soon if he has, because I'm sure he's had time to go over this line with the computer and engines and so on. So he may have something up his sleeve, or maybe not. We'll find out. So right now he has closed the center with e4, saying, okay, Dr. D, what are you gonna do? And now he plays f6. Was that a mouse slip? I'm not sure. I think he probably wanted to go f5. f6 just doesn't make much sense to me. Well, I'm gonna close this other game here. Queen c8 now, bishop. Okay, g4. Okay, he's solidifying that pawn, but it's a little dicey because then later on black could play h5 and easily open up the h file. So I'm not so sure about that g4 move. But Dr. D is liquidating the center for his own purposes here, and I would say why not, because I think that it's white who is playing here for the advantage. I think black, after that misstep with f6, ruined his position. But though it's not lost, and white has to also show a little bit of caution and play good chess. So d4, that's chasing the bishop back, and now he keeps his f5 pawn solid with h3, but after trades black can probably still go g6. I'm not sure. Maybe not now. Maybe he'll want to castle first and then go g6. We'll find out soon. Knight a6. I think he's preparing something like queen d7 and long castle. I think Dr. G, yeah, e4. E4 is what I was expecting. Strike when you have the opportunity. Don't wait to open up lines. d4, knight takes. So knight c7. Yikes! I don't like that at all. Doesn't he have e5? Does he have e5 immediately? He probably doesn't, because of takes, and then bishop c5 check. So if he goes e5, yeah, he takes, pawn takes, and bishop c5 check, and the king is in some trouble. So that's the one disadvantage white has with this h file open up and this rook so well placed on this line. Oh, what just happened here? He took this. Oh, but that's a horrible position for Tani. Now he has to castle kingside, but then, oh, knight d6, and it's, yikes! I don't like it. Knight d6. Dr. D is probably looking for a combination here, because this knight on e7 is loose, so knight takes f6 is also on. I think that's a good option. And he's got to be careful. He's got to watch his clock, because the last time when these two players played the Blitz match, Dr. D got good positions and then ruined them because of his time management. So he's got to make a decision fast. He's got to play knight d6, knight f6, but he can't think like it's a classical tournament game here. He's gonna be in trouble. He has to make a decision really fast. I think he's looking for a killer blow, but there's not one in the position. There's just good moves in the position. So I would probably go. I I'd go for knight f6. I think that makes a lot of sense. Exposes king side. Queen takes e7. You regain your piece. Then f6 is weak. And then it's up to black to somehow hold that position. Maybe he goes knight d5, but then you can even take bishop takes d5, and then you have opposite colored bishops. And with an exposed king like that, yes, he goes for it. And bishop takes. I would just take. I would not let him trade my bishop on f4. Ooh, he plays queen c5. I don't know. I don't quite like that. b6. Queen c1. What is that? Okay, queen d7. Bring your pieces back into the game. That's right. Bishop h6 maybe. Yeah, and rook e8. White's got to be careful. White should probably consolidate. Play queen d2 and rook a to e1. G5. That's the move you want. Maybe it's winning. I don't know. Maybe I overlooked it. G5. Is it winning on the spot, or can he go knight e3? Yes, that's what I was expecting him to do. Knight e3. G takes f6. Position's getting really dangerous. Now queen takes d4. Yeah. So I guess my intuition about that move g5 was correct. I didn't quite think it would work, but maybe white still has rook f4. Does he? Now Dr. D is losing on time, you see, and that's a problem. Maybe he still has rook f4, but then queen takes f6, and it's a horrible mess. Queen takes f6. It's a horrible mess. I think white's just lost after queen takes f6. I think he's lost, because how do you protect this guy? Queen takes f6, and how do you protect the bishop on h6? Oh, maybe queen c6. Wow. Queen e5. Okay. Yeah, I'm not so enthused about that one. Doesn't he have rook e4? What have I missed? Rook e4, and the knight on e3 is lost. What am I missing? Come on, Dr. D, 40 seconds. No, you can't do this. Come on. Move. Yeah, just move. It's a blitz game. You gotta move. I think he's lost. Black is lost. Now, if only Dr. D can manage his time, he can win this game. But what's Tani gonna do? I think a good chance for him is to go maybe queen g3, and then takes, then rook takes, bishop takes, and then rook e8, putting pressure on that piece on e4. Yes, he does it. Takes. What happened here? Oh, he played rook takes e3. Very good move. Not giving him that option. Oh, now simply takes and queen g5 and trade queens. I would just do that in a flash. Yeah, and that's it. b3 even. Bishop takes c6. Okay. Rook takes b2. Now he's got to move. 24 seconds. You can't think here. You got to move. Oh, come on. Why would you do that? That's so ridiculous from Tani. That's absolutely ridiculous. Bishop d4. Why would you trade your rook like that? Now it's clearly white who has an easy road to victory, but he's only got 12 seconds. Can he do it? I'm not so sure. Bishop e6. Oh, that's just mate or queens. That's just silly from Tani. Why would you allow him that? Now bishop d and f7. Yes, of course. And bishop d6 pre-move. Bishop d6. Oh, come on. That's easy. Dr. D is going to finish this. Bishop G8. And yeah, he resigned. Oof, crazy game there. So 1-0 for Dr. D. And Tani playing white now. Dr. D plays this slightly unusual setup with b6 and bishop b7, and now bishop e7. Whoa, what is that? Castles, well, why didn't he go e5? I mean, I thought e5 was really good in that position. Okay. Knight c6, c3. Queen d7. Okay. Just want to make sure everything's alright with the settings here. Seems fine. Okay. Knight g3. Simple middle game, not simple, but a regular middle game position. What's black gonna do? Bishop d8. Well, e5 is just begging to be played, honestly. But he's not playing it for some reason. Now black should play e5. Black should play e5. Or white will play e5. Come on, Dr. D, don't. Oh my god, what is that? Like he's begging him to play e5. Be like, alright, you can play e5 if you want. I'll show you that that's nothing. But I don't believe it. I think e5 is just great for white. And these pieces are not making a good impression. And he plays e5. That's expected. I think he'll take. Probably doesn't want to take. Okay. Wow, and bishop h7, is that even winning? Yep. Takes. Knight g5. King where? That's lost. It's already lost. King h6, queen h5 mate, king g6, queen h5 mate, king h8, queen h5 and mate. So king g8 is the only move, then queen h5 anyway, and then threatens queen h7 mate. And what do you have? King g6, queen h5 is mate. That's funny. It's a nice little joke from Dr. D. But yeah, I don't understand why e5 wasn't played a long time ago. Knight h3, d5. Okay, he's going for the same line, which got him a good position. Let's see if Tani has something new up his sleeve here. c3, bishop g4, queen has to move. d4, pretty interesting. Because if you take, then your queen's opened up on this line against this rook, so you don't want to do that. But if you don't take, then he's going to take here, and then you have a weak pawn on e3. He might probably just take on f4 first. Not sure. No, I don't think he should take on f4 because then that opens up this line. So he should probably just take here. Yep. And now what? I think knight takes e3 makes a lot of sense. Yep. Because you don't want a weak pawn on e3. And despite all this, I mean all this from black, white is still okay, I think. I don't see. What the heck? Knight d5. That's just a free piece. What is he doing, Tani? That's just ridiculous. That's insane what he just did there. Knight d5, just blundering a piece. Goes to show that you might be rated above 3000 in Puzzle Battle. It doesn't mean that you're gonna solve all the tactics that come over the board for you in real chess. Not to say that Puzzle Battle is not real chess, but it's not quite the same. And both these players are extremely good at puzzle battle. Tani is rated, I think the last I saw he was rated something like 3192. And Dr. D was rated 2947 or something of that nature. So they're both extremely good at tactics. But I mean, I should say at puzzle rush and puzzle battle. But as Dr. D himself told me today, it doesn't always translate into good tactical play in real Blitz games or in real chess. So White's just up a piece, and he's got to watch his clock, which he's doing really well in this game so far. And now Tani goes e4, trying to put some pressure on White's position here. Knight f4, saying, okay, I'm willing to sacrifice that pawn on f5 and take it if you dare. Bishop h3. I think he just walked into a trap there, Tani. Queen g5, knight e6, and then queen h5. So who's trapping whom in this position? Well, I would take on d8 now that you have come this far. There's no shying away from the complications of knight takes d8 and knight takes b7. And thankfully the queen's watching g3, so there's no bishop takes g3 tactic in the position. Queen f2, okay. Anything goes here. White's up a whole rook right now, so all he has to do is trade off pieces and he should just be winning. And I think here his plan is to just play queen f5 and say, okay, time to trade off this queen. And then he goes knight d7, just inviting queen f5, and that's going to be GG. And he just resigned. So 2-1. 2-1 for Dr. D. Now he goes for this interesting knight a6 defense. And we've got a Caro-Kann type structure, but with the knight on c7, which, as I mentioned in my commentary on their previous match, doesn't really make much sense on c7, but Dr. D finds a way for it in these structures, so as we shall see. Maybe not, we'll find out. Knight e5, saying, okay, I'm gonna invite you to take that bishop on d3. Dr. D says no, I'll let you take, and then knight goes to f3, saying, okay, I still don't want to take on g6. I must admit, I don't really understand why you can't take on g6. So black has a reasonably solid position here, and white doesn't really have anything to work with. Whereas if there was a h takes g6, maybe you could say that yes, there's a double pawn, you could work against it with maybe moves like g4 and h5. But now there's absolutely no weakness on this king side, whereas white's pawn chain here is about to be undermined with a move like b4, and then white's going to be under some pressure. So you can probably just, yeah, okay, he keeps the knights and says, okay, not yet. Okay, so now he plays f4, maybe wanting to play f5, create some pressure that way. Dr. D says nothing, no worries, I'm just gonna continue with my plan here because I'm coming faster. b4, because if f5, this knight on c7 is guarding e6, so that frees up the queen and the other pieces to do whatever they want here on the queen side. So he goes f5, he's going to take on c3. and then go for rook b2 if he plays b takes e3. Wow, Dr. D is taking his time here. Maybe he's worried about f6? I'm not sure. But then gf, and even if he goes knight h6, there's nothing. I don't see anything. What is he thinking about? dc3, yeah, let's go for it. I don't see anything in the position for black, for white. And round rook b2, that's just such an obvious move. Wow, these pauses really puzzle me, because I'm trying to think what's going through his mind, and he plays rook e8. I don't understand why, but okay, he did it. And maybe he thought that this rook could be swapped off with rook to b1, but then rook to b8 to back that up, and then it may be rook b1. So now Tani going for f6, but what's the point? I'm not so sure, because black can play king h8 and go rook g8 himself, and then white's king is exposed. f5, of course, yeah. This doesn't seem to do anything. Knight e5, okay. But even f6, oh, there's a knight c6 threat in the position. Gotta watch that. And Dr. D does that instantly. He's still got 2 minutes on the clock, that's good. g4, okay. Tani trying to open more lines. King h8, very good. Saying, okay, it's not just my king that's exposed, your king's also exposed. He's gonna play rook g8 next. Rook a to e1, creating some kind of tactics on this line. Actually, in fact, there's an immediate tactic with take, rook takes, e takes, and then knight g6 check, winning the queen. So Dr. D plays rook g8, pinning this pawn. He will move this king away, very likely, to h2, and keep up the pressure. Tani is taking his time on this one. Yeah, king h2 makes a lot of sense. I would take the time here to play f6 and kick this knight out. That would be my move in the position. Gotta watch for gf5, f takes, and then f6, but I think that's still okay. Queen f7, and I don't see white having anything there. I'd definitely play f6, kick this knight back, maybe to f3. That's just a bad position then, because then you can play fg4, and then you have an excellent position. So what happened here? Oh, he played fg. No. Oh, he played knight e4. Ooh. I don't like that move, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't like that move though. I think white can simply play takes here. Yep, he does it. And what's black's plan? Maybe rook g3. Yes. Oh, this is one of those positions where you smell a combination, and I'm certainly smelling it, but it's not easy. And Tani's got a minute and 47 to figure it out. Rook f3, okay, saying it's nothing, I can block. Wow, rook b2, pinning that knight to the king. I don't see anything else than rook e2. What do you play? f6, okay. But that's not doing much. That doesn't change much. Queen, probably f8. Just hold that. Yeah, and he locked this thing here. But I'm not sure it was to his favor to do so. And he still got to deal with this knight, hanging knight on d2, plus rook takes d2 is a check, so he decides to give up his queen and maybe gonna play rook here. Ooh, clever. Oh, he didn't do that. Aha, so now he's threatening. Okay, that's also clever. Knight takes f7 mate. And what can Dr. D conjure up in this position? I would probably go for queen d6, pinning that knight, but then maybe rook g1. There's knight f3 check in the position, so that's tricky. And 19 seconds left. I think Dr. D's lost this one. I don't think he can figure this one out. Knight f3. What was that? Knight e8. Aha, that's pretty nice. I like that. But with 6 seconds left, yeah, knight takes f6, takes, and then takes on g7, of course. Yeah. So it's 2-2, and Dr. D gets white in the last game to try to win this blitz match. And let's see if he can. And a different setup this time. No pawn on e5, knight h3 and knight f2, planning e4, which he does play. Bishop e6, really? f5, of course. And now g4. Oh, he doesn't play g4, okay. g4 was my move in the position. Knight e2, g6. g6 is a good move, undermining that structure before white can play g4. It was knight g4. What? It's a free piece. It's a free piece. Oh, he offered a draw. Oh, it's drawn. Maybe it was a mouse slip. I don't know what happened there. Probably a mouse slip. Oh, they're redoing it. Maybe he's gonna correct the mouse slip. No, but Tani plays differently, so we're not gonna see a redo of that position. Rook e8, e3. Okay. I'm not particularly enthused about Black's setup in this in this structure. I mean, he doesn't have that much flexibility as far as I can tell. Of course, his position is not bad, but I wouldn't say it's great or it's even good. It's just okay. Whereas, considering the fact that white played knight h3 on the first move, you'd think that black should have had the slightly better position by now. Whereas now it's like it's still white who is better in this position. Black has to play f5 or bishop f5, but no, g4 if bishop f5. So f5, and that's I don't like that. It's created this weak diagonal here, but okay, black can probably deal with it. But at some point, this pawn's probably gonna be traded off with d3. Maybe not immediately, but at some point he's gonna do that. And then this pawn on f5 doesn't really make a good impression. Queen h6. Okay, he's gonna go for g5 and opening lines that way. So at least he's being a little aggressive here. But well, I would. Whoa. Okay. Well, e3, and then I was gonna suggest knight b5 to immediately trade this bishop while he is trapped protecting this pawn. What? e2? Oh my god, I can't believe. Well, so Dr. D loses the match 3-2. That one game, those two repeated games not counting. I think that was a similar score last time, 3-2. So we're gonna go to puzzle battle now, and they're gonna play a 10-game puzzle battle match. And if you see the leaderboard here, Tani's rating is 3191, which is extremely high. Dr. D is probably somewhere up here, yeah, 2947. So I was right about that. And they're gonna have a match pretty soon. So let's see how they do in puzzle battle. I think that last game Dr. D just completely blew that one. He had it, I would say, a decent position. I'd definitely play white in that last game that he had, in the position that he had. So anyway, now we're gonna see some puzzle battle. Okay, maybe the players are having a break. It should be anytime soon. Now we're gonna see a 10-game match of puzzle battle here. Okay, the players are gonna do a puzzle battle. Says wait a minute, says Tani. So I'm gonna wait here for a minute and the battle should begin. Okay. While that happens, I'm gonna keep an eye on the puzzle battle here, but let's see if I can find the game that they played. So this one. Oh, it started. The battle started, so I'm gonna open up the battle instead. And here it is. Oh, what? Dr. D has missed 2 puzzles already. How did that happen? I think this first round is easily Tani's here. Takes and what I've noticed as a puzzle battle player myself is that it doesn't teach you much about reaching those positions where you can execute those tactics. I think it doesn't teach you anything about those things. So even though you may be really good at some of these tactics, it doesn't mean that you will get those positions in your games, because puzzle battle doesn't teach you how to get there, and that's a different type of skill in chess. But anyway, you gotta be good at tactics, and at the very least puzzle battle is training you to do that, and it's a great tool to improve your tactical ability. And speaking of tactical ability, Tani misses a tactic, whereas Dr. D has already struck out at 37. And look at this endgame study here that Tani just solved so quickly. He's already on 48 with more than half a minute left, and now he's slowing down. He's taking his time to solve these puzzles, which are extremely difficult. Rook b8, white to play. The move is clearly not obvious. d5, what a move. Bishop c3, knight takes, and d6, and he misses that puzzle anyway. So that's 1-0 to Tani. Now hopefully this refreshes automatically. Oh, I should move my, I'm sorry guys, I should move my camera. Okay. Okay, the next battle has started. Yeah, this is something I often forget, because I'm so engrossed in the in the battle that I forget to see where my webcam view is pointing, because it switches when you switch from live chess to puzzle battle. So I'm sorry about that, but at least you got to see the left side of the board, which was Tani's board. And both players, well, Dr. D misses another one. This is not looking good for Dr. D here. Already missed one, and Tani's just gonna keep going with his pace. Takes, and Dr. D misses another one. Well, okay, I'm just trying to solve these puzzles myself, so it's hard to, as you should know by now, it's hard to do live commentary on a battle because the puzzles are just moving so fast. I'm just gonna enjoy it and see how the rest of the battle goes. And Tani is stuck thinking about this one, but I've seen this one before. The answer is amazingly Queen f5, putting pressure on the f pawn. Wow, Tani is really stuck on this one, and it's not an easy move to find, because yeah, he misses that one. And takes, and well, that's a hanging piece on d5. What else is there? Bishop d5 or rook d5? Okay. Tani misses another one. And And Dr. D's catching up. Oh, Tani strikes out. Can Dr. D level the score? But Dr. D stuck on this same one. I think he's not going to find that. Yeah. If you're stuck on it, then it's extremely unlikely that you're going to find this in a short amount of time. So 2-0 for Tani. All right. Keep it coming, guys. Put on a show. Okay, maybe there's a pause between the two games, battles. Okay, guys, come on. Round 3. Sometimes it doesn't auto refresh, so I'm making sure that I refresh here so that I'm not missing the battle. What's going on? Maybe Dr. D called a timeout. Maybe he wants to switch something. Maybe something's not working right for him with his mouse setting or whatever it is that he's using. And so he's taken a short break, I guess. Let's look at our leaderboard with the rating. Tani is on 3,197, almost getting. I think he'll cross 3,200 again today in his match with Dr. D. He's looking in good shape here. What's going on? Why is there no battle? I'm just pinging Tani here. Oh, there it is. So Tani said he was reviewing the puzzles, and then I remarked that you're learning from me, the real boss, because I review all my puzzles after a battle. Maybe he was joking, maybe he was not, but either way we'll find out. But it's a good practice to review your puzzles after you've finished the battle, so that you remember them much more easily next time. So this time Dr. D is having a really reasonable pace with just three puzzles behind Tani. And Tani already missed one, so I think, wow, this is gonna be an interesting battle if Dr. D keeps his accuracy going. $50 to go, and Tani's got a lead of 6. If he can keep that up, he's gonna win this one easily. Dr. D, you never write him off. He's really good at some of the more difficult puzzles. So when Tani finally reaches his limit, Dr. D starts catching up, and already Tani's is on 2 strikes, whereas Dr. D is on 0, and he's making a comeback. 45, 48. Tani's stuck on this last one, and he can't seem to solve this one. Wow, Dr. D is on 48. That's amazing. Wow, he's on 49. That's amazing. Dr. D has won that one. Incredible. Incredible performance by Dr. D. So looks like Tani's 3200 dream is not gonna materialize tonight because he lost a lot of points there. An amazing comeback by Dr. D. 2-1's the score. And while they're reviewing their puzzles, I'm going to try to solve this one myself because I'm not I haven't seen this one myself before. So D6, so Tani says he's reviewing the puzzles now. And I'm keeping an eye here on my other screen to make sure that they've not already started the next round. I think I could go C5 and threaten C takes D6, right? He doesn't have time to play bishop takes E2 because C takes D6 threatens both the queen and the rook. And moreover, he can't play queen D7 because of knight F6 check. So C5 looks correct. Okay, so he goes bishop C8. Now he's attacking my queen. And what's the material here? Material is not even. I have a knight for a rook, so gotta watch that. I could play knight takes D6 check, because then if queen takes, then C takes, and if bishop takes, then D takes C, and then I have an excellent position. So knight takes D6 makes a lot of sense. Yes, sir. And then simply C takes D and DC, and that's winning. Cool. Rook takes B7. The rook can be taken. Oh, so the next round has started. So let's take a look at that. Okay. So who's watching the stream? Because I see a couple of viewers here. Let's see your names in the chat if you want to reveal yourself, that is. So Tani's got a good lead of 7, but against Dr. D, that it never is a safe lead, and he misses one puzzle, and he's slowed down instantly. Immediately he slowed down. takes with the queen and then rook a8. Oh, Dr. D misses one too. Check and takes, and it's too fast. F3 was such a beautiful move there. Whoa, Tani misses another one. Now he's got to be careful. There's still 30 seconds left. And if he strikes out, that means Dr. D only needs to solve 3 puzzles. And Dr. D stuck on this one? No, he isn't. He's going to play bishop takes f8. Come on, Dr. D, what are you thinking about? 8-6, rook g1, rook g7, 47 already. And Tani strikes out. Dr. D just needs one. And he's got it. He's got it. He's going to win. He's going to win by tiebreak. But he was about to solve that last one also. So he's won it. And it's 2-2. Wow. Amazing. Dr. D ties the score. Tani's not hearing boss music in the background. If he is, the music is for Dr. D. Great performance by Dr. D, keeping the scores level. Okay, let's, while they review, oh, they started another one, okay. So 2-2. Check and mate, yes. Wow, Dr. D misses one. Whoa, Tani's missed one. D5, G6. That's too easy. Whoa, he's missed another one. Now he's got to be really careful. One more miss and it's game over. And that's going to slow him down considerably. Well, at least I think so. Let's see if he actually slows down and if he can keep up his pace. So yeah, now you start to doubt yourself because Queen C6 is such an obvious move. But then you begin to think, what's the combination? What's the move? And here again, I think if Tani had 0 strikes, he would have played f takes e4 instantly. But now that he's on 2 strikes, he's just being that extra careful, making sure that he knows what he's doing and not just exercising muscle memory for some of these puzzles. And that's allowed Dr. D to catch up, and Dr. D's on 39. And Tani strikes out. Dr. D just needs 2 more. And he should win this. And just 1 more. Oh, this one's easy. Doctor. Queen h4 and rook d8 takes, rook d8 and wins. Yup. Wow. Dr. D. Just in the nick of time, stealing another one from Tani. And it's 2-3. Wow, Tani started with a good 2-0 lead, and Dr. D is now up 3 games, 2-3. That's amazing. And he's probably going to take a timeout here. I'm not sure. He's probably going to review. But I'll keep an eye on that. But let's see some of these puzzles in the meantime. Castles. Wait, someone missed this one? That's sad, because check. takes and check, and the king has no squares. Takes and mate. Okay, rook b7. Yes, this is what I was looking at. I was okay. Let's. They've started the puzzle battle again. So let's look at that. So 2-3 in Dr. Durkenstein's favor. We still don't know who Mr. Durkenstein is. That's not his actual name, obviously. But maybe he's going to reveal himself someday. Some people have speculated that he's Magnus and other such things, but only he knows who he really is. From what we know, he likes collecting beautiful chess puzzles, and that's why he's especially good at some of the more difficult ones, because he appreciates the beauty of these chess puzzles, and he has a disdain for those puzzles that are computer generated and miss the beauty of the problem. So that's about as much as we know about him. Now getting back to the battle here, Tani's, I think he maybe changed his strategy. Maybe he's like, okay, I'm not gonna go all guns blazing. Maybe I'm gonna be slow and cautious. But that doesn't seem to be working for him either, because now he strikes one, and Dr. D misses the same one. Wow. Bishop g2 makes a lot of sense. Takes and wins. Knight takes knight. Queen h5. Queen a5 takes, and rook b4 wins the bishop. Whoa, Dr. D's missed another one. So now it's anyone's game. 45-42. Both have got only one strike left, and Tani is thinking about this one, which means that he's not so sure about this one. Well, queen takes e6 is such an obvious move. Queen takes e6. Oh my god, Tani has not seen it, and he loses that one. Why would he play knight c7? Well, he didn't see it, but Dr. D saw that one instantly. And he is, wow, he is avenging his previous defeat to Tani with an amazing performance here. 2-4 already for Dr. D. That's stunning, and the kid's probably on tilt right now. I don't know, but something's definitely not working for Tani. He's not getting his regular 50 scores. And I think that Dr. D is showing him that he is not to be taken lightly. So I guess they're gonna do some review, so I'm gonna do the same. Let's check some of these puzzles here. And yes, this is the one where I said that Queen f5 was correct, and I think I'm 99% correct on this one, because you pressure this point, play Queen f5. And he plays a ridiculous move h3, but then that simply allows rook takes pawn, doesn't it? And takes. So why does he not play f3? Well, because of queen g5, and now this is a problem that you cannot solve, because if rook f2, then simply check here, and mate. And if g3, then queen d2 or queen e3 check first. For clarity's sake, I'm just going to play queen d2 threatening mate, and it's game over. Okay, so I was right about that one. Rook c2. Well, rook g5 is just so obvious, because then check here. Ah, but you gotta watch for rook h2. So what is the idea? Queen f7, king takes. There is, if rook h1, then rook h2. So queen f7, king takes. I'm just looking at my other screen to see if the match has started again. Check takes, then maybe queen f6 check, king here, then check here, king h4, check there, king g3, and takes on g5. I think that's probably it. Takes. No, I'm wrong. Oh, maybe it starts with bishop f7 and oh, that's just mate. Oh my god. One of the two players missed that one, or maybe both missed it, I don't know, but yeah, that's a sad one to miss. a4, and well, if queen h6, he can sacrifice on f6 and then take my knight. So can I do anything about that? Oh wow, can I play queen h6, takes, and then rook h3? Then he has to move this rook, but then takes. That could be it. Yep, that's it. But let's see the battle, because it started. Okay. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is round 7, and Dr. D leading with 4, whereas Tani's got 2. So if Dr. D wins this one, then he ensures that he does not lose the match, but obviously he's wanting to win this one because he lost the last one pretty badly, I must say, maybe like 7.5 to 2.5. Whereas he's clearly not in that kind of shape today. He's doing much better, and I think Tani is a bit on tilt. Maybe he's exhausted, I don't know, but hey, kid, you see how I feel after my 8 hours of work and I play you in puzzle battle? This is how it feels. So I'm just messing with Tani, because he and I are in the same time zone, so we play a lot of battles together. But often we are playing after my work, my full-time job is done, and I'm a software developer, so it's not exactly a job that lets you rest your brain. So I'm playing Tani with a brain that's worked hard for 8 hours, and so I'm trying to tell Tani that this is how it feels when your brain's fried and you can't think. And clearly Tani seems to be running into some sort of exhaustion here. Queen takes f7 and bishop f4 wins that bishop on c7, doesn't it? Yeah, maybe he heard me. Oh, he's not. Wow, I don't know. Maybe he heard me. I don't know. Maybe he's watching on Twitch. And both players on 42 right now. Just 10 seconds left. They have to hurry. It's anyone's game. It's absolutely anyone's game. And it's a draw. Wow. So 2.5, 4.5, 4.5 for Dr. D, 2.5 for Tani. Three more rounds to go. So let's look at some of our puzzles here. Rook here, what's the idea? Well, the idea is you're going to distract this rook and promote your pawn, but sorry, not buying that. And if c7, then he plays rook c6 and he gobbles up that pawn, so b5 and then c7. King here, And well, d5 seems pretty obvious, but then he can play knight takes c5. We're gonna watch for that. And okay, let's go to the battle and start it again. Okay. Must-win game for Tani, really. I don't think this one's gonna end in a draw. But if Tani loses this one, he loses the match. I think the next, you can say that about the next 3 games. Because Dr. D is on 4.5, just needs 1 win to win this match. And let's see if the nerves get to Dr. D this time. Because everyone's human. Everyone feels pressure. Tani says in the chat, I was not watching you during my matches. Well, if you're not watching me, how do you know I said that? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if he's referring to the fact that I showed that bishop f4 tactic, or he's referring to something else in the chat. But here, okay. Oh wow, Dr. D crashes. And Tani is going to win this one, maybe regain some confidence. Wait, what? Oh, he just claimed that win? That's a shame. You should have solved that puzzle. And they're gonna... Oh, I lost the link to that one, but the score is 3.5, 4.5. Last 2 rounds left. And... wow, if Tani wins this one, we're gonna have a final round that's gonna decide everything. Oh wow, he misses too. What is happening here? Wow. If Tani wins from here, okay, kid, you've earned my respect. Okay. That's assuming Dr. D doesn't blow this up completely. If Dr. D plays like Dr. D and Tani still wins this, yes, kid, you've earned my respect. Still neck and neck. Thirty-six, 33. Going strong, going strong. E4, knight c7 made. Lead of 3 still. It's a small lead against Dr. D, but a lead is a lead. Oh my god, he crashed that one. Oh dear, Dr. D. It's his battle to lose, really. 48 seconds left. Surely he's gonna solve that one and he's gonna win the match. Wow. Okay. So the kid couldn't repeat his performance. Bishop takes f3, of course. Come on, Dr. D, you should know this one. Bishop takes f3, yeah. you know, sometimes you know some puzzles at the top of your head and others don't, and happens the other way around as well. So but wow, Dr. D wins the match, and he's on 3.5, 5.5, and last round coming up. Wow, can he win another one and have a more convincing match victory? I mean, clearly Dr. D has deserved this win. He's played really, how do you say, he's never given up, despite the fact that he had those really two bad performances in round 1 and round 2. He has played like a champion, and he deserves this win. But it'll be awesome if he can win with a more convincing margin here. So that's what he's gonna try. And Tani is probably trying to play for pride here and win this one, so that, you know, he doesn't lose by that big of a margin. So both players going strong so far. No strikes. 2 minutes left. Whoa, that's clearly Tani on tilt there. CD5, I thought. Wow. B4 is the move. Yeah, Dr. D finds it instantly. Check takes and can't complain about a mouse slip on that one. I often joke with Tani that he should not make any excuses for his failures and say, oh, I mouse slipped and so on. Well, those things are a part of the game, unfortunately. Until we develop the technology to read our minds and make those moves, exact moves on the chessboard, we have to unfortunately deal with mouse slips and things of that nature. That's just part of online chess. You can't help it. And the fact that you can have a mouse slip also introduces a different dynamic to the game, because then you're like, should I play too fast? Should I play too slow? Should I keep a decent pace, but then what if my opponent moves faster? Those are the kind of things you have to navigate with the fact that you could have a mouse slip. So that's what makes puzzle battle pretty interesting. And again, we're coming close to the end of this last round. 49-48, anyone's game here. 51-49. Dr. D stuck on this one. Tani is striking out. I think Dr. D is gonna lose this one. Yes, he is. And Tani wins the last battle. Dr. D wins the match 5.5, 4.5. Excellent show from both players, I think. Great performance, guys. Really good show. I certainly enjoyed it. And well, I don't know if they're gonna continue playing, but as far as I know, they're only gonna play 10 matches. So if they're gonna play one more, sure, why not? But as far as I know, the match is over and Dr. D's won this one. But if they're gonna play another one, power to them. I can continue doing some commentary on this. Although it's midnight here, and I'm pretty sure Tani's parents must be like, hey kid, come on, it's time to go to bed. And maybe they're watching me, maybe they're watching my commentary, I don't know. So I think Tani probably wants to play a few more to level the score. Even though he lost the match, well, the deal is a deal. You decided to play 10 games, and then if you lost, then you lost the match. But now he's probably trying to level the score so that he probably sleeps well. I don't know, or maybe it's just his ego and be like, how could I lose? You know, I'm the boss. Well, I'm just pulling his leg here. Dr. D misses one puzzle. Oh, mouse slip. That was a genuine mouse slip. I'll give you that. I saw that. He was clearly playing rook takes e6 there. Knight d4 check. Interesting. Just don't do anything stupid. Yeah, your pawn's gonna queen. Yep. Wow, both players on 45. Rook takes and rook f1 wins, of course. Wow, Dr. D just solved that with such ease. And Tani misses that one. Last puzzle for Tani. And he's not solving that quickly, which means that he's not studied this one before, whereas Dr. D has, and Dr. D shows why he is so good with some of these more difficult puzzles. And Dr. D actually gets to 3,000. That's amazing. So round 11, and Dr. D is on 4.5, 6.5. Is that enough for the kid, or is he gonna play one more? I'm not sure if I copied all these puzzles, but I'm gonna review some of those. I used to list so Tani is like, how many more? Is this the last one? Oh, so they were not keeping track of the rounds, so I guess that's why they just continued playing. So to be fair to Tani, he didn't know how many rounds had already happened, so he didn't know it was round 11 already. So anyway, Dr. D wins this match 4.5, 5.5, and if you count round 11, he wins it 4.5, 6.5. So great show by Dr. D. And Tani says, so many slips. Well, kid, no, you can't make such excuses. That's the nature of the game. If you're a gymnast, you can't say so many slips, because as a gymnast, you gotta train yourself to not make slips. So that's the same with puzzle battle. You can't make excuses. You gotta accept that slips are a part of the game. You gotta train yourself to not make as many slips. Dr. D, okay, he's pinging me. Tani's pinging me. Okay, I'm going to review some of these puzzles here. And so let's start with the ones, well, let's start with the random puzzle. And I'm going to make sure that I move my camera position here. Not my camera, the window that shows my face. So I don't block the board. And okay, what's this? King E7. Let's make sure that Tani is not pinging me here. Okay, he's not. Okay. King e7. And well, let me congratulate Dr. D first. Six and a half. And Dr. D is on my stream, so that's good to see you. Doctor, great performance there. I'm reviewing some of these puzzles that one of you or both of you missed. And this is white to play after King e7. I haven't seen this one before, but my gut feeling tells me that Rook a7 exposed or bringing the king towards the center is going to win. And he plays king there. So he doesn't take the knight. I was counting on him taking the knight and me getting a check, but he doesn't do that. And now he's got queen g1 mate coming, so I gotta play a move that gives a check. And I'm thinking queen c3 is a good one, because first of all, queen c3, it creates a flight square for my king here on d2, so that's a good move by itself, so that there's no mate threat. Plus it's also checking his king. So I think that queen c3 is a good move here. And he plays queen e5, okay. But now can't I just grab his queen with rook f7 check? And rook e7 and queen e5? Yes, I can. Okay. f4. Dr. D says, thank you, I was in very good shape today as I got 39 in 2 and 1 in 3. 51 in 3. Yes, doctor, I think that you played really well today, and especially the comeback after losing the first two rounds was incredible. So, great performance. This one I know, you gotta give a check here because you have to control b3 later on, because queen b3, queen b5 check, and then knight b3 is what you are planning. So queen takes and wins. Knight c6. Okay, I don't remember seeing this one, but isn't bishop h6 just winning? Bishop h6 and bishop d7 check and takes. Yep. Rook there. Well, queen g2 should win, because now I'm threatening rook takes h7. No? Yeah. And if rook g8, then takes anyway. Oh, that's wrong. Wow. Why is that wrong? Queen g2. What's wrong about queen g2? I'm threatening rook h7. Oh, queen takes g1. Is that the refutation? Probably, yes. Queen g2, queen takes g1 check. And then I have to take maybe with my king, and then he takes bishop takes g7. And he's got two rooks for my queen. Wow. I see. Oh, so I can play rook takes, and then e takes d5 comes with check, and the puzzle stops there. But where's my analysis board? So let me show you first this line. Am I correct with queen g1? Okay, queen g1 is a half decent move. It could have worked. Takes, bishop takes, and e takes, and the computer thinks it's still white who has an advantage. So the refutation simply was bishop e6 guarding against queen h3, and there is no mate in this position. Wow, that's amazing. Whereas with takes and takes here, now if he goes king h8, what do I have next? Probably queen f5, and that's just crushing. I should have shown that line. Takes. Dr. D says this one's very sneaky. Once I played queen g2 and another time e5 instead of e takes d5. King h8 and queen f5, yes, and that should just win easily. bishop g7, queen h5 here, and rook takes, king takes, bishop h6, king h7 takes, king g8, bishop h6, wow, and then queen g5 and mate, and he can't stop it. Knight takes, well, my queen's under attack, my rook's under attack, so I better take this knight, no? Yeah, why not? Takes, and then takes here, and then rook d4 wins that queen. Here, yeah, Tani should have solved this one. Check, and then I guess bishop c2, threatening mate, or bishop c4. Bishop c2 or bishop c4. Bishop c2, he can play rook takes c2. And then he's got an extra pawn which will queen soon. So bishop c4 makes a lot of sense. So he escapes that with king a4. And now I can play check here, king a5, check here. He has to block with queen b4, then I give check here, queen a4, then check here and wins that rook. So check, takes, check, and the puzzle stops. But if queen a4, then queen e1 check and wins the rook on f2. King f7, well, queen e6 check, and the bishop's free, takes, and bishop f4 is mate. I vaguely remember seeing this puzzle in last year's Puzzle Battle World Championship, and it was Ray Robson versus Jimis 9-8. And Ray Robson missed this puzzle, if I'm not mistaken, and he played, I think he played queen f8 check. Okay, knight f5. Well, isn't b4 simply winning a piece? What am I missing? Oh, we can play bishop takes d4, b takes a5, bishop takes f2, but I can still win an exchange there, right? Yeah, that's winning. But yes, knight takes b4 and bishop takes f3. Of course, it's extremely tempting to take the queen, which is what Tani did, and he lost that. It was the last puzzle that he lost. But why does that not work? Rook takes d4. What does white have if he goes rook takes d4? I think he can probably just go knight takes d4, and it's not that big of an advantage. So let's see. Well, okay, let's fail this one. And if rook takes, you can probably just go knight takes d4, and it's not that big of an advantage. It is an advantage, but it's not that big. But if you play instead, if you play bishop takes f3, well, now you still attack his queen. What's worse for white is if this queen moves away, let's say to queen h4, then rook takes d1 is checkmate. So the queen's still not going anywhere. In fact, he has to sacrifice his queen for the rook. Takes, and then you are up a queen for a rook compared to what you had in the previous line. Okay. Here, of course, Tani played c takes d5, which doesn't make any sense, because if c takes, then first queen takes queen, and then bishop takes d5, or in fact even just bishop takes d5. But I would first trade queens and then take on d5. So b4 is correct, distracting the queen, and now this line is open to the king. So c takes d, and the bishop's dropping. Oh, I think I just opened it twice here. Rook there. Wow, is the pawn queening? Takes, check, queen takes, pawn takes, bishop f8, b7, bishop d6. No, I have e5 check. Actually, that's winning. Takes, check, takes. Yeah, that's winning, because if bishop f8, then I have e5 check, stopping that. So I can probably just play b7 here. That's winning. Yeah. 2697. Okay. That's I've seen far more difficult puzzles at 2100 than this bizarre rating that this puzzle's got. King there. Okay. Well, you have to take. I just don't see a move. You have to take. And then can you go king d5? 1, 2. No, you cannot. 1, 2. Wait. King d5, king g5, king e4. Aha. Takes, and then this pawn's dropping. So, like that. Nice. Check, and then king h2, and I'm trying to get into a position where I can mate him here. How do I do that? Well, I can check here and then maybe play queen d4, attack this rook, and also get this formation where I can check him, and that should work. Wow, I'm wrong. So maybe queen d4 first? No, that's wrong also. So check, I guess. Okay, now I'm just guessing. But check. And rook a2 is winning, isn't it? Yes, sir. Takes. Ah, that's sad. Wasn't rook a1 working? Rook a1, king h2, and I thought queen d4 attacking this guy. Oh, but queen e4 check ruins everything. That's why. That's why. And even if queen b8, what if queen f4? Oh, there's no queen f4 in the position after queen b8, so he protects against that as well. So that's why this trick doesn't work. So you gotta play check here and rook a2 and go after mate. And if f4, then of course now you take, and it's over. King g1 mate. Okay. Bishop d6. Well, I'm so tempted to take on f6. Takes, queen takes. Right? Because now you've got this long diagonal. You could throw in bishop e5, but then queen f7 check, king h8, and rook h3 threatening mate there. I think that's just too much. The other thing I see is queen d5 check, king h8, and then knight takes f6, but unfortunately he can throw in bishop h2 check and then win my queen. So that's not gonna work. Well, I can mix up the order. Takes, queen d5 check. Aha. And then king g7. If king h8, then bishop f6 is just mate. So king g7, bishop takes f6, king h6. Oh, that should lose. Queen g5 mate. Yes, sir. Okay. Well, takes the rook, check, and takes. Is there more? Is there more than a draw? Well, that's a draw, right? Takes, check. Oh, there's mate. Oh. Ah, he ruins it with rook d1. This is what I don't like about these tactics that are computer generated. But takes, check. The point, of course, what if king e2, not knight f4 check, because then after king e3 takes. Well, I thought it was a draw, but white's actually is better in this position because this pawn's falling, and this rook's probably gonna go after this one, and so it's not an easy position for black. But the point, of course, was not that. The point was rook e1 mate, which was not demonstrated in this tactic. Instead, the computer plays check, rook d1, but then takes, king e2. Again, this is not easy. Knight f4 check. You gotta sacrifice this rook, take on d5 and win. Rook takes, and well, king g6 is just winning, and check. And of course check first, and then you queen and win the game. Just gotta be sure. Check. Let's say king d6, queen takes, and is g4 winning? No. Is h3 winning? No, it's not, because rook, in fact, even just king takes g5 stops that pawn easily. here. Okay. Knight c7. I could play queen g3, threaten mate here. And if he takes on f7, well, then he's just opened up my rook to his king, so that makes a lot of sense. Queen g3, and then check, and then promotes and wins, right? Yeah, takes and rook f7, takes, wins. Okay. Tani missed this one. Well, this was a mouse slip. Takes is correct, and then check, exposes this guy, and wins. Queen c7. Well, this guy's hanging, and I'm down a piece, so if I just take the piece back, that does not justify this as a tactic, but sometimes you've seen really stupid tactics, so maybe it does. But what else is there in the position? If this knight moves, then I open up an attack on his queen, but then he opens up his attack on my queen, so we gotta watch for that. What else is there? You gotta take the piece back. I don't see another hanging piece. Maybe queen f5, but what does that do? I certainly don't see any checks in the position. Rook g5 is useless. Queen g6, queen h7 is not on. Rook d7, nothing like that works, so I'm gonna take. Bizarre. Rook c8, okay. And now what? I gotta watch this guy. Well, I can play queen f5, can't I? But then rook f6. Queen g4, rook g6, queen d4, okay. Queen f5 looks good. Really bizarre problem. Dr. D shares a puzzle that I'm going to show you right away. Well, first let's ensure that my understanding of this problem is correct. B takes a3, and it's screaming 3.6 as the advantage. I guess it's because of these extra pawns here. I'm really not sure what the huge advantage is really, aside from these extra pawns. And of course that black's king is exposed. Rook c8, and you get out of all this with queen f5, rook f6, queen g4, and if rook g6, then queen d4, check, protecting your knight the next move. Let's say king g8, knight e4, and white has a really good position, but not really a tactic like that. So Dr. D, okay, let me open a new window. Dr. D has shown me this puzzle that I'm gonna share with you. 1069312, and Dr. D says, I'd share this puzzle from my 5-minute rush. The last move made is the worst puzzle of chess.com. I guess he means the last move makes this the worst puzzle of chess.com. Okay. Hey, but I saw Dr. D share this one earlier today or the day before, so I know what he's up to here. Rook d8 is so obvious because it's check. Queen there, okay. Bishop d6, pretty obvious. And then, okay, I know this one. So, but let me pretend that I'm thinking, despite me knowing the answer. What am I doing here? Okay, his queen is gonna get trapped, right? So I probably can play b6. This bishop's hanging. But if b6, then queen a4, right? Can I play something like bishop c6 and then set up a queen trap? Maybe that's a possibility, but b6 and queen a6, I don't see what's going on. If it were a real game, I would just castle. And that's the solution to this puzzle, which is really sad. that this counts as a puzzle, or a tactic rather. It's a puzzle, but it's a bad one. Clearly, Dr. D hates this one. But it goes to show you that Dr. D is well versed even with these really bizarre and bad puzzles. So that's why you see him towards the end of the puzzle battle, he starts to show his prowess. Okay, and this one we've seen. Well, this one we've seen already. Check takes away. A7, he's gonna queen, but I can do the same with rook f1. Can't I? Oh, I can actually take on g3 and make a queen. Because then if he queens, then I take on g3. Yes, like that. Here, well, a6 should just win. a7 pushes him back, and then c4, c5, c6 just wins. Okay, well, queen b6 is pretty obvious, and then check, and then takes. Maybe someone mouse slipped on that one. Well, check, and then knight c5 sets up knight b7, rook e6, and wins. Queen, rook f1. I think both players missed this one. Check, and well, I would play check, and that allows me to pick one of the two rooks with check, like that, and that's the end of the puzzle. Okay, fair enough. Oh, both players missed this one. Yes, takes, and my rook's hanging, so I'm just going to trade. Takes my queen, so I take it back. I don't take it back because I'm stupid. I should take rook with tempo first, and then take my queen back, and now this pawn goes through. Here simply queen takes d3, takes and check, and then grabs this free queen. It's not over. Rook f1 stops this rook from, well, protects this bishop and this rook indirectly by attacking the opponent's rook, and there's no way white can grab this bishop without protecting this guy first. Queen there, well, check, and queen d6 should just win. Okay. Here, g5. Wow, g5 takes f6 and goes through. If g5 king f5, then takes and grabs the knight. So I'm going to play g5. Yes. Now if I take, then he gives me a check. I don't want to give him a check, so I can probably play king d5. King d5 makes sense, does it? No. Okay, what's the solution? King c4. Okay, these ones are difficult because it's not obvious why king c4 works and king d5 doesn't. So let's say king d5. Yes, knight h3. Okay. Now if I take, yes, king takes f5. And now if f7, then knight f4 check. Takes, and knight takes. g6 stops the pawn and draws the game. So that's why you don't play king d5. Instead you play king c4, and now he's got no knight h3 tricks, because knight h3, it's not going anywhere, there's no check. And knight e4, maybe there's a trick, but takes. Sure, you can play knight d6, you can play king takes, and with f7, there's no knight d6 check because rook's watching d6. So that's an amazing little point there. Okay. Oh, okay, we've seen this one. Bishop f6. Well, doesn't knight takes just work? Check. Wow, check doesn't work because of knight h7. Yikes. So queen e5 should win. Yes, queen e5, and then queen takes f6, and white regains his lost piece. Let me show you why knight 8. Well, first of all, queen h4, knight h7 just takes. My point was if king g7, then queen g5 and wins the knight, but knight h7 ruins all of that. And white is down a piece, so the only way you can get it back is queen e5. Okay. f3. Well, this one I know. If you give a check here first, then he comes out to e2, and then you give a check here and take this rook for free. Although b7's hanging, but you can probably deal with that with a move like queen a6. Let's see. Check. If he goes there, then check, king e2 and takes. Now he cannot play b7 because of queen a6 check and trades queen. So if he goes here, then check, and now he has to go back here, and now if takes and queen takes, and then of course not just queen a8, but queen f7 is on the menu. So castles, takes, and queen b6 amazingly traps this queen. Black's gonna play bishop takes e5 and knight c6 and win that queen. Amazing. So there's some depth to that puzzle which unfortunately we don't get to see. hg4. Okay, well, doesn't rook d7 simply set up an attack against this guy? He can play queen e5, sure, but then takes, and then I'm up material. Rook d7. Wow, he gives me the bishop for free. Oh, that was the plan. Okay, but then fg and wins. Takes with knight c6 first, rescue our knight, attack his queen, and this knight is threatened, so knight takes f1. Dr. D says some of these puzzles are rated 1000. Yeah, I mean it's bizarre that the ratings are so skewed. Some of these puzzles are so difficult that the low rating is absolutely not justified. King there. Okay, Tani failed this one with queen c3. I'm pretty sure he did. But what's the solution? Queen e1 check forces king e2, right? Rook e2, and then queen c3. Aha. King takes e4, queen c4, and wins one of the two rooks. Nice. If that was too fast, queen e1 check forces rook e2. You can probably figure that one out. Now queen c3 forces king e4. If king f2, then rook h2. So that's not desirable. So he has to play king e4, and now queen c4, and he cannot protect both rooks. Queen takes g4. Well, queen c6, and you just win this. I guess someone probably fell for f3 in this position to win a piece. But it's a nasty trap from a puzzle battle perspective, because black's already up a piece, so you got to win. If you play f3, you're just winning a piece back. But if you play queen c6, then you're winning an exchange. King there. Okay, this piece is hanging. Oh my god, are you serious? And someone missed this. Wow, I can't believe it. Maybe a mouse slip. Maybe a mouse slip. Knight f4. Well, this queen is lonely on g8. Although she can escape via h6, I gotta watch that, because if I play bishop here, then queen h6, rook h8, queen g5, and then where's my queen trap? So I probably need knight f5, then knight f5, queen f6, bishop e7, and the queen is indeed trapped. Yes, sir. Okay. Well, okay. I shouldn't have taken the hint, but anyway. Takes. And now this situation. So I saw Tani play d5 in this position. That makes a lot of sense. And then queen here. I guess the point was bishop f6 check and wins the queen back. So queen here, so bishop c3 is forced, yes. Takes is forced. And then he played d6, which is wrong because it doesn't do anything with the queens off the board. So takes on c6 is correct. Rook b1. Well, the queen is hanging, so you take it. There is no checkmate, takes, and knight c1 stops the checkmate and wins the game. Bishop here. So if I play rook h1 and he moves the bishop away, I'm threatening mate. So rook h1. And if king g7, then knight h5 check, and then grabs this piece. And yes, I think this one I was trying to solve before, and I said queen h6 and then rook h3 is the move I was going to play. And then take. And now I cannot play rook f6 because of rook e1 mate. What I can do is play rook f3 and win the game. Okay, rook b7. I'm up a piece in this position, but if I take here, then he takes my rook, and then I'm down in exchange, am I? Well, I have knight d4 to follow it up, threatening this guy, threatening that guy. So I might as well take this guy. King a. Queen b5 threatening mate. Bishop c8, no, that can't work. Queen b8 would be mate. Oh, actually, yeah, no. Queen b8 would be mate. Okay, so what is the solution here? Can't be knight a5 because then queen b8 mate. Don't see a check in the position. Queen e1 check, rook takes. Oh, knight b4. Knight b4, yes, that has to be it. Knight b4 interferes in this line and forces him to take on b4 either with the rook or the queen. If he takes with the rook, then I take his queen, so he has to take queen takes b4, and then I trade queens and I have the better position. Actually, I'm just up a whole rook. And okay, I guess both players missed that one, so that was not an easy puzzle, but king b7 starts it off. King a8 and then knight b4. That's a nice puzzle to end the review of this great puzzle battle between Tani and Dr. Durkenstein. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. Maybe I should spend a little bit of time reviewing the Blitz games that they played, so let's do that, because there were some entertaining games there. This is round 1. And h3, Dr. D is playing white. Okay. Probably should just start analyzing the live analysis board. Show me the lines and then evaluation. Knight h3. Already Stockfish doesn't like white's position, but of course it's easier said than done. And this is how the game develops. I'm just going to see if there's any obvious tactics here that both players missed. E4 from Tani, and Stockfish likes f5 as a good move for white, so Dr. D, keep that in mind. And here, yeah, here Tani played this ridiculous move f6. I thought that was a mouse slip because f5 makes more sense, and indeed that's Stockfish move, but this is just bad. And wow, knight takes, look at this tactic, knight takes e4. If d takes, then queen h5 thanks to this f6 move, and c5 is hanging. So he would have to trade here, but then after knight e to f2, you've got this open line against black's king. It's not a good position for black. Okay, f5, knight f4 here, g4. Yeah, I didn't like that move. I didn't like that move at all. Dr. D says, oh, I really didn't see that so bad by me. Well, it's not in a puzzle battle tactic yet, but it might show up someday. G4 I didn't like because h5 was going to happen someday, so, and it did. So d3 was correct. So anyway, g4, knight 7, d3 now fine, takes, and I like this for white. And d4 by Dr. D here, and he played h3. But then after this line was opened, it's really black's game. Although after e4, knight c7, yeah, I didn't quite like knight c7. He should have played d takes e4. Anyway, we need to takes, and now, yeah, now I was absolutely shocked at this bishop takes f4 move. What is that? Like, no, you don't do that, my friend. You don't simply allow white to develop for free like that, and then also threaten knight d6 check. And now he was forced to castle here, and Dr. D spent a lot of time here analyzing God knows how many variations, but finally he settled for knight takes f6, which makes a lot of sense. Takes and queen takes, and after knight d5 I was screaming for bishop takes d5, and going into this position with opposite colored bishops. But okay, Stockfish is not extremely enthused about that, and Dr. D played queen c5. It was not so optimal. b6, queen c1, queen d7, bishop h6, and here Dr. D went for g5, which I thought was risky, and Tani played knight e3, but then Dr. D followed it up with a wrong move, gf6, and after queen takes d4, rook f4. Yes, I was screaming for queen f6 in this position, but he didn't play it. He missed it, because queen f6, and how do you protect this guy? Yes, queen c6 is a move I saw, but then Stockfish says queen b2, and it's an extremely messy position, although it's a level position. But Tani played queen e5. That's ridiculous. Then rook e4, and Dr. D simply cleaned this up with rook takes e3, and that's game. And then Tani played something absolutely ridiculous. He played rook a2. What was he thinking? Maybe he was trying to trap Dr. D with a silly move like that. But Dr. D only had a couple of seconds on the clock left, so Tani should have kept this rook to keep some pressure. But after this rook trade, it was all pretty easy. Anyway, so that was game 1. Let's look at game 2. What is this? Yeah, this is game 2. Game 2, Dr. D lost pretty badly, and I mean, the opening was pretty bad anyway. Analysis, show lines, d3. I hate this stuff. Like, just get me out of here and let me do my own analysis. Okay. b7, bishop d3, bishop e7, queen e2, knight f6. I was screaming for e5 in this position, and I was just surprised that Tani never played e5 for the next couple of moves. Castles. Dr. D is like, alright, throw e5 at me. He doesn't do it. Rook e1, d6. Okay, throw e5 at me. No. Knight d2, knight c6. Throw e5 at me. No. c3. Queen d7. Okay, maybe now e5. No. Knight f1. Rook e8. Maybe now e5. No. Knight g3. Bishop d8. Okay, maybe now e5. No, he plays h3, and I was suggesting that black play e5 himself here, because I could tell that e5 from white is just a killer. But Dr. D finally overdoes himself with knight e7 and e5, and then he should have swapped off this dangerous knight before doing knight to d5, because that simply allows check, and that's just checkmate. Dr. D played the funny move king g6, and queen h5 was mate. So that was game 2. Game 3 was no, sorry, yeah, this is game 3. Okay, knight h3. Okay, we have this opening setup. Get me out of here. Okay, f4 here, e3, knight c3, bishop g4, queen e1, d4 was a good move, yes. Knight d1, takes. I think takes is where he lost the thread of the position. He should have kept up the pressure with c5. I was genuinely surprised that black didn't get anything out of it, but now I see why, because he prematurely tried to make good use of his position without bringing all of his pieces in. But c5 would have kept the pressure going, and maybe then knight c6 and rook d8, and pretty much asking white, what are you going to do in the meantime? So that would have been a better plan. But d3 was bad, because Dr. D correctly played knight takes e3, not allowing any weaknesses on e3. And then knight d5 was just bizarre, just dropping a piece for free. And then it was all downhill from there, although he put up a fight, but it was a final blow with queen. Well, he just resigned before Dr. D could play queen f5, trade queens, and win with his extra rook. Okay, round 4. So Dr. D started with knight a6, which is his typical opening move. Flip, please, and take me to the analysis. Thank you. d4, c6, knight c7, d5, takes, knight f6, castles, bishop g4, e6. Okay, castles, c3, bishop g6, and yeah, I would have played bishop takes g6 at least. That way, white has something to work with on the king side. Knight e5, knight d7, takes, knight f3, takes, and white was not convincing here in the way he approached this position. f4, okay, but b4, yeah, and black's breakthrough is just coming faster. I was screaming for rook b2 in this position, but Dr. D didn't play that one. Instead, he played rook to e8, which I just didn't understand, but maybe he's trying to make some room here for his king. Not so sure. f6, trying to go for an attack, but I didn't think there was anything there. g4, and yeah, I was asking for f6 to be played in this position. Dr. D played king h8, rook a8, e1. Again, I was screaming for f6, but and again I was screaming for f6 in this position, but he just didn't play it. But he played knight e4, which is not convincing. Takes, takes, and rook g3 was a strong move though. And after rook f3, Dr. D missed this combination. Rook takes f3. I mean, that's a hard one to see, because I don't see the point even now. Because if knight d takes, And then what? Then rook b2. Okay. Rook e2. Okay. Takes. And then what? f6, knight d3, and e takes f5. And okay, it's just simplification, and black is much better. Though you could begin with f6 and not do this rook trade. So that's not really a combination, it's a positional move. Although I'm pretty sure Stockfish will throw it in, not Stockfish, chess.com's algorithm will throw this in as a tactic in puzzle battle someday. Rook g3, rook f3, and rook takes f3. That's just insane. Rook b2 makes a lot of sense. f6, and now again I suggested queen f8 myself. And Tani played an interesting move here. Rook takes g3, spicing it up. I was going to play rook e2, which was an equal position, but rook takes g3 is a pretty interesting try. Takes, and rook g7 was a good move. I had rook e to g1 in mind, but that was wrong. Why was that wrong? Because of what? Oh wow, knight b5 headed here to protect this pawn, so that if rook g7, then knight d6, protecting this, and there's nothing. Wow. So anyway, check by Dr. D. What a move to find in time pressure. I didn't see that. I was gonna play queen d6, but knight f3, what a move. Takes, and then knight e8. That was an excellent follow-up. Rook g2, and then takes on f6. Yes, knight e5, and I think Dr. D just ran out of time here, but queen takes g7, takes, and this is really black's game to win with an extra pawn. So Dr. D lost this on time. And then this game was, these two games were abandoned because of a mouse slip apparently. And this last game, Dr. D playing white played knight h3 again. d5, g3, f4, b3, bishop b2, e3, bishop e7, knight f2, takes is, I mean, it's a weak move. gf4 is also pretty strong, but Dr. D played ef4, knight e4. Knight e4 is even worse, because now after takes, this pawn on e4 is weak. And Dr. D says about the previous game, he says, meanwhile I was thinking I blundered f6, as after queen f8 it seems hopeless. Yeah, psychologically that's a difficult situation to be in. Knight c3, f5, king h1, queen f6, and I wanted to play, well, first of all, this bishop's loose, so Dr. D plays rook b1, and after queen h6 I wanted to play knight b5 in this position, just eliminate this light squared bishop, and now this bishop is the king of the light squares. So that was my plan, but anyway, Dr. D played d3, which, well, objectively Stockfish says that's the best move, but I didn't quite like it. e3, and now bizarrely Dr. D blundered with knight d5, and after e2 it was game over. But if he had simply blockaded this pawn with a move like, well, d4 first and then maybe later on blockade this pawn, it's really white who is playing for a win here. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed. It's almost 1 o'clock here at night, and I should get to bed myself. I enjoyed the battles myself and the puzzles. I hope you did the same. My voice is almost gone. So have a good night or a good morning or good evening wherever you're watching, and thanks for watching.